Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. You are once again welcome here on the Conscience Watch Forum on the front page of international news. NATO is overtaken by this diplomatic ballet to which China engaged itself yesterday, September 3rd, 2025. Donald Trump himself, we don't talk about it. He's very outdated then. This is a geopolitical earthquake that has been triggered in Beijing. Yes, and as a reminder, all the leaders opposed to the West were present in Beijing. The parade that was held really showed the power of China. Statements have been made. All this sufficiently proves that the global South Bloc is really standing up against the decadent West. So, it must be said that, and what happened demonstrated what is called the tightening of the anti-Western bloc. And so, in the face of this, NATO is panicking. Panic is fashionable in NATO. Yes, because in the face of this rise in power, NATO is multiplying emergency consultations. As if all this wasn't enough, Donald Trump has just given an order. So we have emergency consultations which are multiplying. NATO is reviewing its deployment strategies. Military exercises are intensified. Announcements are made. There is the pressure that is being made to increase the defense budget and the need for closer coordination with Washington. All this is going on. Donald Trump strengthens the military machine. He gives an order, and this order makes it possible to understand that the West is destabilized on all levels. The West is destabilized. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as part of this video conference, it is of this unpredictable, surprising order that Donald Trump had to give. That's what we're going to talk about. But before we continue, I humbly ask you to share the video conference as much as possible. It should be shared in every possible group. Above all, put a lot of laity. So what order did Trump give? Trump gave the order to double and triple or triple the production of the Patriots, the Patriot air defense system. He said to triple. So this is a shock statement. Trump says U.S. factories must double and triple production rates to produce Patriot defense systems and other weaponry for NATO allies. There is no time. There is no time. Trump has ordered American factories to double or even triple their production rates. They need to produce massively and quickly. And this equipment that is going to be produced is intended for NATO allies. So that means the NATO member countries that are around Russia, whether it is certainly the Baltic countries, Poland, and so on. So the clear objective of the order given by Donald Trump is to massively strengthen deterrence while avoiding the direct sending of American troops. Russia must be deterred. But the big question is Russia deterred? We cannot deter Russia. On the contrary, this will contribute to the worsening of the situation. It will contribute to the worsening of the escalation. That is what this is all about. So this is the Trump method: to speak loudly, mass produce and impose an industrial and military balance of power. This is the method that Donald Trump is opting for. So if Donald Trump gives the order to produce massively, what does this refer us to? First, you know that the reserves in terms of American military equipment, the reserves are depleted. America has almost no weapons. The other countries of the West no longer have them either, since they have transferred everything to Ukraine. They transfer to Ukraine. Russia consumes them, or is Russia sending these weapons? Most weapons are recovered, sent to the lab, reworked, and put back into circulation. Russia is only recovering. It's true, they are investing billions. The fact that Russia is recovering hurts them, but what can they do against this very strong and powerful Russia? We simply have to order mass production, patriotic systems. That Donald Trump is asking to increase production, these are systems that Ukraine has always asked for, despite the fact that these systems are not effective in the face of Russia's saturation method. Because when Russia begins to strike en masse with its saturation system, patriotic systems show their limits. And on occasion, we once saw Volodymyr Zelensky leave. To say that the Patriot systems are not effective, the partners who produce would have to try to review because it allows missiles to pass. Yeah, it lets the missiles through. After all, this is what America has. America has therefore ordered to triple production, and it is therefore a Western counteroffensive which is triggered and which is assumed. So because by increasing the industrial pace, Washington reassures its European allies and sends a clear message to Moscow and Beijing, the West is preparing for a prolonged confrontation. That's the message behind it. That's the message. And so in Europe, which is already in search of rearmament, because we saw Ursula von der Leyen was very clear with the member countries of the European Union. She said we have to rearm ourselves, and that is why budget spending from 2028 to 2034 is extremely high. Europe is embarking on a war economy and not an economy that allows Europe to develop. So you see, these Western countries have developed so much through the sweat of Africans that at some point they have reached a level where they are going to self-destruct each other. They are going to ruin the whole of Europe, risks being ruined, and then after they are going to start again at zero. This is not Africa's karma. Just like done, it is no longer the defense that Europe is preparing, it is the counter-offensive. Beijing dances diplomacy. Trump launches the machines. The West responds with brute power. That's what it means. So this is the order that Donald Trump gave. And this order sufficiently proves that even if the conflict in Ukraine ended, but other fronts will inevitably open concerning Beijing with Taiwan, the island of Taiwan, also concerning Russia, with the Baltic states, Poland, etc. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was the front page of international news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I'll be right back with new information. It was the voice of your humble servant, Robert Théa.